Bad childhood stories and things you pick up are like LimeWire.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly. Like you're like, I really like that song.
Yeah.
And what did you do for that song?
Yeah.
You have all these vibes.
What do you have to sacrifice for that song? That's a great way to put it.
That's exactly what happened. Wow. No, and so that's you have to consciously go back there. It's not gonna I hate the phrase that time heals all, like because it doesn't.
It doesn't.
That this time doesn't heal anything, and that's why people are in their 60s and their 70s still with anxiety, still holding on to their child. Can you imagine there are people out there, 70-year-olds. I know because like I have family members like this who still have daddy issues, who still have mom issues, and it's just like, well, when do you get over it? And it's like you don't get over it until you decide to work on it. It doesn't just go away.
No.
Like, you have to be intentional.
Yes, 100%. And so when someone comes to you, because you have all these gifts, how do you use your gifts? Like, what is it like for you to experience it as a medium and psychic and all the gifts that you have, versus, because I know a lot of mental health professionals, they use it from a very logical and textbook side. And I think us healers who have different modalities and different gifts, we just have a different experience with it. So what is that like for you?
Oh yeah, no, and I feel like that's kind of the interesting thing as well, right? Because you're right, I love the textbook stuff all day, but when it marries, like I said, the practical meets magic, to me, it is magical. And so, for example, of course, like channeling, right? I think it's really crazy the information that I get when I'm channeling, when I'm reading someone, when I'm doing the Reiki or meditation before they come in, and I'm just like, I know what your issue is.
Yeah.
I know. Source told me.
Yeah.
And so I write it down already, and then when they're telling me, I'm like, oh, I got that right.
Yeah.
And then after I read their I didn't get it right? Source told me, but it helps me understand what I need to work on, right? How I need to help them more, what exactly to say to them, right? And then so, when I'm doing their chakras as well, like again, reading that, the things that come up, the things that just hit me, just come to me. I'm just like, I just have to be open because there's no way that I would know that. And it makes people have that magical experience. So it's like, how do you know me? You just met me. How do you know all these things about me? Right? Like this woman, I remember she was very emotional. And poor baby, her heart chakra was just like in pieces, right? And when I was working through that energy, I was like, wow, she wants a baby. She wants a family, and she really wants to take care of her new baby. And like I just saw this baby and felt this extra maternal like love, and it's just like, oh, that's what she wants. She's craving that. And then like I think it's just so weird because I always say like, correct me if I'm wrong. Please take everything with a grain of salt. Like just tell people like I'm not a super psychic, like so people don't get like too weirded out. But I'm just like, do you want a baby? Like, are you planning on having a baby? And she's like, I just told my doctor that 2 days ago. And I'm just
wow.
Yeah. I'm like, let's talk about that. And it's just like, her telling me all these things, just like, well, how did you know? And it's just like, the source told me. That's what happened. Or having those type of conversations are, oh my goodness. There's some people who, I don't want to pick favorites. I won't say who my favorite type of client are, but the people who are starting their spiritual journeys, their readings feel completely different. Like so much power, like crown chakra completely like I'm ready. It's so much energy. It's just like whoa, like you are moving. You like, and to explain that back to people, and they're like, and like you said, there are in hypnosis too. So I combine Reiki and hypnosis, so they get the same at the same session. Sometimes there are entities attached to people. Sometimes there are things worse than entities attached to people, right? But there's all other times there are angels attached to people, right? And this one guy literally had like an angel and a demon on his shoulders, like, and I was like talking to both of them, and I'm like, and I was explaining to him like what was happening. He was like, he's like, I hear them, I hear them, like I'm like saying like, oh yeah, like one's telling you this, one's telling you that, and I'm like, you literally have a split. You can choose which one, but they're both not going to be with you for too long. You have to choose.
Okay.
And he's like, that is so crazy because that's exactly what I feel. And he's like, and I hear them, and I'm having these like when I'm in meditation and stuff like that, I'm feeling this pull, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't tell you which one to choose. I like literally like feel it in your body. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
Right. And again, he was one of my. He was a very interesting guy, but again, that's kind of like. I think that's kind of like the little tricky things that come up that normal therapists will not see in their practices, right?
Yeah.
Or even know how to handle. I cannot imagine a regular talk therapist like feeling like there's something with us in this room.
Yeah.
Like something else is here.
Yeah.
That would be really weird. But in hypnosis, they talk through the person. If you have an entity attached to you, like, and I say entity like a disembodied spirit, basically, used to be here, is no longer here. They can attach to people based off their energy. I'm sure you know that. Like, when you are vibrating low, you attract entities and spirits that are on that vibration. Same thing when you're vibrating really, really high.
Yep.
You attract energies and spirits that are on that vibration.
Yes.
And so they will attach to you, and they will use your physical body because they want to experience something. Mm-hmm. So when they're in deep hypnosis, I can talk to them directly, and they speak through the person and will tell them like what's happening in their lives, what they're causing. They cause people to act out even more. Like you have anger issues.
Yeah.
The spirit that attaches to you are going. It's going to amplify your anger issues.
I feel like they amplify whatever you have going on.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And they don't want to let go. And
no, they don't.
There was this one lady that like it said it was with her since she was a child. It was like I've been with her since she was 13.
Oh wow.
And I was like, are you ready to leave?
Yeah.
And I think it might be time.
Yeah.
Right? And it's that type of thing. It's just I feel like people are really surprised when that comes up too, because I think a lot of people they think they pick a healer to work with, right? And then but when it really happens, when they really get this miracle or supernatural experience, they're just like, is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah. That happened. It was real. And even for me, every time it happens for me, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. When I've released them off
cool.
of me, I've seen like a explosion of smoke in my bath or something. Like I get these crazy things, but it's weird because it's like I think you probably see this with people too. It's like when you're in a low place, they come in and they play off of what you're already dealing with and try to show you like an answer. And it's like you just have to, you can either be aware or be like, well, does this really feel like me? Because as soon as you say no and you like, I don't want this, it goes away.
Yeah.
It's that easy. And I think there's a lot of misconception. There's so much fear around it. You think you have no choice, but I feel like that's part of how they get to stay that long in the first place.
Mm-hmm. When I first realized that there were like, you have to learn how to, like you said, identify your voice, right?
Yes.
In your head, right? And I remember I told my little sister, this is kind of how you break generation, of course, is you teach the ones after you. So
yes.
I was teaching my little sister, because she was also dealing with anxious feelings and depression and stuff like that. And I told her like how to identify her voice. And I was like, when you are spiraling and you feel this, I was like, at times you may hear a second voice and you find yourself repeating that voice. Like you'll finally be like, I hate life. And then you hear it saying, I hate life. And then you'll repeat, I hate life. Like, and you're like, this is so hard. Like, and you can start finding yourself like, like that's not your voice. That wasn't your, why did you repeat it? Because it wasn't yours to begin with, right?
Yeah.
And you have to realize, even when you, even when I meditate sometimes, right? Because I try to meditate when I'm low, when I'm feeling low and high, but when I'm in those low spaces, like I'll be meditating and then I'm just like, okay, just show me the answer, show me something. And I had this one spirit come in and say something. I said, oh, who are you? What is that? No, ma'am. I'm so sorry. It was like, what did it say? It was like, I want to offer you a crown. I said, goodbye.
Oh, no.
Goodbye. I'm not here for that. That sounds like a trap. That sounds like a trap.
Yeah.
And so like being able to, like you said, identify those voices and identify what God's voice sounds like, what Spirit's voice sounds like, what your voice sounds like, and there are your inner. You also have, like you said, let's talk about the inner child. There are multiple parts of you. Every time you've had a traumatic experience, a part of your subconscious split, right? And every time and sometimes it compounds. You have the same experience over and over. So I took my own medicine, right? So I've done a lot of this work over the past couple of years, and so I remember for myself when I seen it, there were like thousands of little Hannahs, like thousands of them, and I started crying. I was like, wow, look at what I've been through, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to give them all hugs, and some of them were mad at me.
Oh.
Some of them were mad at me, and one of them tried to stab me. I was like, oh, little gremlin, okay. But like again, like they need work, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times you don't. Again, like I said, there's thousands. You don't have to work with each one, right? I would say work with the youngest ones because the youngest ones are when I say the youngest, the oldest ones, the ones that happened early in your life because they birthed or split the other ones off, right?
Yes.
And if it's the same issue, it'll knock all of that out. If you just
Go to the root.
Go to the root.
Yeah.
Right? It's the emotional release that is the emotion is connected to the energy. That's what's staying in the body.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's keeping the limiting belief there. That's what's keeping everything trapped. If you do not have a good yell, scream, cry, if you are not allowing yourself to release all of that, and if people are shaking, people are screaming, people are throwing things, you have to let it out. Whoever did anything, you have to tell them. You have to be able to express to that person, well, in your mind, right?
Yeah.
How you're feeling. And if you don't get a chance to do that, if it's not actually processed, because some people think that they're like, I already forgave that person a long time ago. It's like, no, your adult conscious mind forgave them. Mm-hmm. 5-year-old you is still holding a grudge. And I can tell you because you're angry right now talking about it. That is not what forgiveness looks like.
When you're neutral, that's when you've really fully forgiven the situation.
And you gain wisdom.
Yes. Oh my God, so much. I don't know if it's similar with the work you do, but whenever I've done this version of timeline therapy, as I'm healing the root of something that I'm trying to work through, I get so much wisdom about life. Like I feel like I've learned all about humanity just by healing, something that happened when I was 5 that I forgot about. Like you could spill a glass of milk on a rug, and you pick up so much stuff. Yeah. And out of that comes so much wisdom. It's like incredible.
Yeah.
But the littlest moments too. Sometimes they're not even big moments. Sometimes they're as simple as spilling something on a rug.
Yeah, but your younger self took that as like something like, oh no, something. And you know what? It's funny because we're talking about your inner child, right? But that inner child is stuck in a loop, and because it's in your mind. All of these parts are just parts of your own mind, right? So you also have an inner parent or an inner critic, right?
Yes.
And that's the inner parent is suppressing the inner child, and that they just keep playing out this little vicious loop, and it's running on a track. I don't think people realize that the inner parent is also a part of them, and it's also an inner child masquerading as a parent, but it is just another child, honestly. Right? Because the number one fear when you're a child is abandonment, right? You're 5. Your primal drive is I need these parents to protect me. Yes. I cannot be abandoned. Right? I need to do whatever they want me to do so they keep loving me, so they keep feeding me, housing me. Like your primal instincts knows that.
Yes.
And that's why people will literally you'll see children with parents that are narcissists that will just like, I need to care for my mom's issues and stuff like that, or like they are in abusive, they have abusive parents and then they end up in abusive relationships because they want another child that, I gotta keep the peace, I gotta be a people pleaser, like you'll see those things, right? Yeah. And then the part of their psychic that turns into the inner parent is the one enforcing that behavior. Mm-hmm. It's like, remember what happened when you were a child? You have to keep doing that or they won't love you anymore. Yeah. And so it's forcing them to stay in that loop. And so it is just a part of your subconscious mind that's acting like a parent. But when you work through that part of your mind, and that part's thinking is protecting you. Yeah. It's trying to protect you. It's like, no, we're doing this to keep you safe, right? Yes. And then when you tell that part, because there's another thing I do called parts therapy, and you really just like sit all the parts down on the table and like, listen, we gotta be on the same page, okay? Because you're making it hard for me. It's like one part of my life, one part of myself wants to be a millionaire. Another one wants to chill and watch anime all day. And another one just wants to frolic in the grass. Like, okay, can we get all on the same page, please? And so, yeah, you sit the inner critic down and you're like, you're being really mean. You know, you're yelling at me, you're telling me I'm not good enough, you're telling me I'm ugly. Like that when you're like, oh no, that's me. I'm really, people are like, I'm so mean, I'm so stupid. Don't stop. Like, that's a part of you saying that, right? And it's like, well, it doesn't know. Like, when you start questioning it, it starts getting confused. It's like, well, don't leave, don't kick me out, please. I want to stay. And you're like, you can stay. You just need a new job.
Yeah.
And it can't be to be a bitch. Like, you can't do that, right? And then you give them a new job, and they become your biggest cheerleader. They become your motivator. They become your coach. That part of your mind becomes your coach and starts and gets that, it grows up, and it's like, oh yeah, I could be more mature. Give me the roles, and I can do it. And your subconscious can do it. It can evolve. It can grow, and you grow them up. You don't want 1,000 little people.
Yeah.
You want adults.
Yes.
There, right?
Yes.
And so yeah, you grow them up. You give them new jobs, and you're like, wow. All of my voices are playing nice together. All of my sides are actually on the same page, and it's really, really beautiful when that happens. That was a tangent, but I like this type of work. Is like, it's everything, Carla.
Yes.
It's everything.
Is there any wisdom from some of these that are consistent that I don't know if you have any that you want to share? Now that you're mentioning like some of the wisdom.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Kind of like stuff you see across the board, like everyone kind of goes through this part of realization about themselves and humanity or something.
There's this one really powerful one, and this young lady had a really rough childhood, and she was talking to the part of herself that was her mom, right? And she's telling her mom how much she hated her and how she made her life horrible. And she's like having that full authentic release, which is great, right? So she felt better, she was crying and stuff like that. But then the mom gets to speak back, and I could tell that this was like channeled, like, right? And it's like,